Alright, I think everything's good to go. We have 100% power. I can zoom in as if I have a gun. Sasha, where'd you go? You in the bathroom? Not the bathroom. You in the kitchen with Golden Freddy? Where are you? Where'd you go, Bo? You're not in the supply closet. You by Pirate Cove? Bro, where are you? Really? Dude, what the f- Why is he in the lobby? Ugh. My guy, what the hell? Yellow. Bro, what the? Bro. Can you not hear me? I didn't know this was how I wanted to start it. Oh. Okay, so that sucks. I guess I could do this map. Oh, I can't even invite him anymore. Alright then, I guess I'm doing this by myself. While that's going, I want to look back at the first part real quick, so that way I see what all I've already gone through and where I left off from last time. Sasha, you ready? And you can back me up on this too, if you like. Five Nights at Freddy's. Our story of Five Nights at Freddy's begins in the year Freddy's. 36, bro, freaking 36 minutes. Freaking 36 minutes and 30 seconds in, we finally got to get started. Because Sasha was picking some of the stupidest maps for us to attempt it on. Story of Five Nights at Freddy's begins in the year 1972 with two gentlemen named William Afton and Henry Emily who want to start their own family entertainment business. So they opened a small diner in 1970. They opened a small diner in 1973 called Fredbear's Family Diner. This diner was home to two animatronic robot characters named Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. These two suits were gold. These two suits were a matching yellow in color and looked really friendly. Wait, and all the kids loved these guys. They were like the main attraction of the place. These two the concepts were created respectively by Henry and William, but Henry created the suits themselves using spring lock technology. So what is a spring lock? A spring lock is a mechanism created by Henry that pretty much combines animatronics and suits into one. Just the way I see it, just starting out as a small business, it's understandable if they can't really afford animatronics and mascot suits for people, well, separately. So with the invention of spring locks, Henry was able to combine both into one. Henry focused on the majority of the actual entertainment itself, while William covered all the financials. Now the diner itself, Fredbear's Family Diner, was just a small diner like
pizzas and
a
cakes.
1970s Chuck E. Cheese or something, if they were even out during that time, I guess. Where their menu was majorly filled up with just pizzas and cakes for all customers to enjoy.
Pizzas and cakes for all customers to enjoy.
Themselves. William and Henry both have really happy, lovely families. They're both married and 5 kids. William having a daughter and 2 sons, Elizabeth, Evan, and Michael. And Henry having 2 daughters, Charlotte, or Charlie for short, and Sammy.
Together, William and Henry have 5 kids.
And Michael. And
William's 1 daughter and 2 sons, Elizabeth, Evan, and Michael. And Henry's 2 daughters, Charlotte and Sammy.
Over the course of the last, 8 or 9 years after opening, their business has been very good, including that profits are up, customers are enjoying themselves. It comes between Evan and Elizabeth. Evan loved the plushies the most and loved to talk to them as if they're alive for something. And Elizabeth, during the production phase, is Elizabeth's circus baby and get up to her close and personal. But he's the and his last name was Afton.
That's when I started messing around with that. Trying to find where I left off.
So that means in just a time span of 1 week, William lost all of his business and 2 of his 3 kids.
God, I'm stuttering so many times.
Henry also quits on their friendship and partnership of the company. All this combined stress, sadness, and anger all turns into
rage. Him and his wife get into a big fight over custody of Michael, and then William ends up killing her.
With William taking off, on what's left company of workers and security.
Fazbear Entertainment opens up.
Decides to sell the IP and changes the name to Fazbear Entertainment. The company agreement wants nothing to Fredbear Spring was. Asked for the name.
I think it was the drive-by murder of Charlie.
You there?
Not all that good. Really? I took 1 bite, but
that was a mouthful.
it wasn't really all that good, and I didn't eat it anymore.
Where did you get the bite
Ugh, that was a mouthful. Opens in mid 1985.
Mid 19. Okay, I did the first location opening. If I remember correctly, it was when the drive-by murder of Charlie.
Argue with Mrs. Afton, eventually leading to a point where, this leads to the point where
This is me trying to link the FNAF movie with it as well. Mike, after the William and Mrs. Afton's.
Mrs. Afton is yelling about, you're the reason. You created those things. You're the reason. You shouldn't have made those things. They killed 2 of our kids and caused our 3rd to run away from us.
Blood.
Blood came out from Mrs. Afton's chest as she looks up at William and watches him as he stabs Mrs. Afton. As he has stabbed Mrs. Afton in the chest with a knife.
Michael
Well, that did a lot.
William blamed Michael. William blamed Michael for the death of Evan for taking it too far. Okay, I think I got where I'm gonna start. So, after William kills Mrs. Afton, William blames Michael for the death of Evan for taking it too far. This makes Michael feel so really sad and guilty about it. He ends up running away. And me trying to fill in the FNAF movie's logic into everything as well. I would say this is the point. Michael's probably 18 at least by now. And has decided to move in with Henry and his family. Only without William knowing. Then after what's his name? Then after Michael runs away, William takes off. William goes to the William returns to the Fredbear's family diner to do something. Why does it look like this? The heck? They're the exact same, so why does it exist? We do have a couple of mythics and exotics. We have 2 exotics. Foxy, Chica, and Freddy. So, at this point, I would say Michael has moved on and has moved with the Emily family. That would explain how he would be with Charlotte and Sammy. We'll talk about that in more detail later. So then William runs off. William goes to Fredbear's family diner to do two things. He looks at the Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. He looks up at the Fredbear and Spring Bonnie animatronics. He takes the Spring Bonnie, and he takes him and he carries the Spring Bonnie suit into his car, and loads him in the back of his car. But Fredbear, however, wasn't so lucky, considering he was the one that killed his youngest son. So William takes a little bit of his anger out on him by taking a sledgehammer and completely beating the living crap out of Fredbear, destroying him, beating him up, tearing the life out of him. Oh, what the? Okay, turn the glow off. Oh, and then they're all on the stage. Okay. Bro, Withered Freddy, why do your eyes look like that? Why do your eyes look like that, Withered Freddy? And I find it funny, they use the help wanted models for help models of help wanted for Foxy, well, Withered Foxy, and Withered Freddy, but then and FNAF 1 Bonnie, and then they use a Gmod Chica. One of these is not like the other. Alright. God. Oh, I lag when I get near them. Ah! The fuck? What the? William feels like he's accomplished something, guys, okay? William, by dismantling the living crap out of Fredbear, William believes he's accomplished something. William thinks he's avenged Evan Afton, but little does he know. But little does he know of, but little does he know of what, So, Hen little does William know that Evan Afton has thanks to the psychic friend Fredbear he left behind. Evan Afton's spirit, upon death, bonded with the psychic friend Fredbear, and allowing him to possess his spirit to possess the Fredbear animatronic. Once Michael is moved in with the other with Henry and his family, he begins having nightmares for the first week, and begins seeing a therapist. It's about them. Though what Henry sees is something, in his nightmares is something Evan never saw. Including nightmarish versions of Balloon Boy and Marionette. Including nightmarish versions of Marionette and Balloon Boy, as well as Halloween schemed nightmarish versions of Bonnie and Chica, respectively called Jacko Bonnie and Jacko Chica. And then on top of that, he also sees a black and yellow a black and translucent ghost nightmarish version of Fredbear named Nightmare. Just Nightmare. You've got Nightmare Freddy, Nightmare Bonnie, Nightmare Chica, Nightmare Foxy, Nightmare Fredbear, Nightmare Balloon Boy, Nightmarian, and Nightmare. Just Nightmare. Oh, really? Kinda should have expected that. Okay. Ignore that. No. So we know Henry opened up the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in 1985. With 5 animatronics: Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Marionette. We had Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica on the main stage. We got Foxy's own little side attraction. That's pirate themed. Yo ho, pirate life for me. And then a game area where you could get and turn in those tickets, get to Marionette at the prize corner to win prizes. which is pretty cool, right? Who doesn't like prizes? Certainly not William, but now it seems like he's about to get a prize, and a lot of it. At this location, a total of 6 kids, will have the time of their life at this location. So, literally. The first of these 6 is the drive-by murder of Henry's eldest daughter, or elder daughter, Charlie. While Charlie would run around and play with the other kids while Henry was working, he made marionettes a side purpose to protect Charlie. Just be like a second pair of eyes for her, just to make sure she's okay. And report back. But one day when 3 bullies closed Charlie outside and blocked off Marionette's box, trapping Marionette inside. As Charlie walks around to the back, around the side and the back of the building to attempt to find help, a car pulls up. William pulls up his car right next to her and steps out of it. Charlie quickly rushes to William in relief, because obviously Charlie knows who William is. He's pretty much his uncle, you would say. You could also say, like, William and Henry's relationship at the start. They were like brothers from another mother. But that's right when William pulled something from behind his back. William kills Charlie in a drive-by, and he's like, should I hide the body? No. It's pouring rain. It's pouring rain out here. Which it was that day. It was pouring rain outside. And William killed Charlie. But now that brings up the question, why did William do that? For Charlie, William kills Charlie out of spite. He thought it wasn't fair that William lost 2 of his 3 kids, while Henry still has 2 of his own, and unknowingly to William, Michael as well. William may be a psychopath and a murderer, but he did care about his kids. After Elizabeth was killed by circus babies, he set up monitors in Evan Afton's room to watch over him while he was at work. He also used Psychic Friend Fredbear as like a walkie-talkie type of situation, in the assist of trying to get Evan keep Evan to stay away from the animatronics. which obviously thanks to Michael in the end result, that ends up not happening. By accidentally killing his little brother, Michael learns from that and instantly moves on and tries to become better. And he would get help and advice from Henry. Talking to Henry, I am hanging around with Sammy a lot. Sammy started to grow like a familiar love, like a family-like love towards Michael, as if he was a part of their family from the start. And Sammy would never want to leave Michael. At this point, I would say Sammy is like 9 or 10. No. Sammy would be... I'm trying to think. 12 in the movie. In the movie... And the movie takes place, apparently the movie took place in 2003. Apparently. The movie took place in 2003. So, and by that time she's 12. Bro, what the f... This age, the age is not lining up to me. I'm looking this up. I might have to look that bit up. After the storm cleared, Marionette bursts out of his box and bursts outside to try and chase down Charlie. But because of the pouring down heavy rain, Marionette starts to fall apart and get damaged from the rain, until eventually Marionette is crawling with barely anything left and sees Charlie dead on the side of the road. Seeing that his one true mission in life was a failure, Marionette does the next best thing possible. He uses the last of his energy from the rain before dropping dead to crawl right next to... Finds Marionette. Henry soon finds the box open and Marionette gone completely, and runs and searches the building to try and find where he went, but doesn't find him. He ends up going outside to see if Marionette, for whatever reason or another, went outside. And Marionette finds him. Marionette finds Henry finds Marionette, but he also took a second. He took one quick second look and instantly knew at what he was holding in his arms, what Marionette was holding in his arms, and instantly knew who that was. Charlie was dead, or Henry's eldest daughter, Charlie, was dead. And Henry wasn't stupid. He knew William was the one that did. Henry wasn't stupid. He knew William was the one that did this. But now he had a big question to ask himself. Do I put this on the news? Do I shut the place down? No. I would be proving William right if I would be proving William's point right. I would be proving William's point right if I shut the place down. If I shut the place down over this. For this. So Henry decides to keep the place open. And takes Marionette back inside. Jesus Christ. Okay, guys. Now, Henry wasn't stupid. He knew William was the one that did this, but he decided to keep the place open because he knew deep down if he were to shut the place down, he would be proving William right. So he keeps the place open. William drives home, or William drives back home, and is happy. William thinks he's the happiest man alive now. Now for what he just did. Satisfaction, exhilaration. Two words that perfectly describe how William feels about himself now. Now, the fact that he just murdered Henry's daughter and got away with it. Because Henry never pressed charges or anything. Or have anything. Pain, and more people would probably just die. But that night, William got home. And he went to bed. But he started having nightmares. Not the same nightmares that Evan and Michael had. That Michael had. William's were different. William's were more of nightmarish visions in his head. Of Fredbear. But Fredbear would open his mouth. And he would hear the voice of his son, Evan, from inside. He would also see Circus Baby and Ballora and Marionette. And when they opened their mouths, he would respectively hear the voices of his daughter Elizabeth, his wife from Ballora, and Charlie from Marionette. He starts to question, what? Alright. It seems like they're possessing him, it seems like, to William. But he's like, how is that possible when they're dead? How is that possible when they're dead? If his two dead kids are inside of Fredbear and Circus Baby, his wife is inside of Ballora, and Charlie, who he just murdered today, is somehow possessing Marionette. They all possess them because their bodies linked with the suits, were linked to each of their respective suits, and allowed them in a way, and allowed their spirits not to go to heaven, but were placed inside, possessing the animatronics. Next, but when it comes to the fact on how they've actually physically possessed the animatronics, this left William confused and now a little curious. He wants to find out why they're doing that, and more important, but also leading towards his true goal of becoming immortal. How that's possible. He makes a physical attempt himself. He makes a physical attempt himself the next day. He returns to the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, this time wearing the Spring Bonnie suit, and lures 5 children into the back safe room where there's no cameras or no people. Well, the names of the 5 kids he lured back were 3 boys named Gabriel, Fritz, and Jeremy, and 2 girls named Susie and Cassidy. These kids were ready for the surprise Williams told them he had, the surprise that the kids wanted, and the surprise that they got. But that was when William then pulled something from behind his back. The knife he pulled out went through the children's bodies in an instant. He went on a murdering spree, murdering all of them in seconds. But then what would he do? He just murdered 5 kids. He just murdered 5, not one, but now 5 more kids. Well, William then takes the old suits, and stuffs the bodies inside of them to hide them from the police, knowing that police and SWAT would show up when the kids' parents start to realize their kids are missing. Sing. The 5 kids, Gabriel, Susie, Fritz, Jeremy, and Cassidy, their bodies get stuffed inside of the suits and possess Freddy, Chica, Foxy, Bonnie, and Fredbear, respectively. At the end result, William's experiment was successful. His experiment was successful, but it did come at a price. So William sneaks away from the scene of the crime, but leaves Spring Bonnie there. William leaves the scene of the crime. And leaves the pizzeria. But it wasn't long once police and SWAT team burst into the pizzeria, and they searched the entire building top to bottom for the kids, but they were never found. The bodies were never found. And William became a major suspect, but, however, luckily for William, nothing was ever proven in a court of law. So, in the end, William came out unscathed. His experiment was successful. He killed 5 kids. His experiment was successful. He didn't get caught. He didn't go to jail. And now he's one step closer to his true goal of becoming immortal. However, the same thing can't be said about the location itself, because now the animatronics started to stink and blood and mucus came out from their eyes. So that's when Henry finally drew the line and shut the place down. Now, clearly, some repairs and adjustments need to be done, so that way this doesn't happen again. 2 things need to be amped up before this happens again. William, get rid of William and be more secure. Get rid of William and get more security. Ready? So Henry immediately gets to work with just that. That for the next 2 years. So all of the animatronics possessed thus far are now Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Fredbear, now Golden Freddy. Now in the state of Golden Freddy, Marionette, Circus Baby, and Ballora. So amongst them all, Golden Freddy is a special case. However, he's possessed by 2 animatronic, or by 2 spirits rather than 1. I'll get to that. We'll get to that later. Actually, no. What am I saying? Amongst the 5 kids that were in William's experiment, Cassidy was put inside a Fredbear, unwillingly known to William that Evan was in there as well. So now Evan and Cassidy both share control of Golden Freddy, of what is now Golden Freddy. So in a time span of 2 years, going from 1985 to 1987, Henry takes the FNAF 2 OGs and takes parts out of each of them, putting them into the state of the withered animatronics, or putting them in the state of the withered animatronics, and putting them in the state of the withered animatronics to build the toy animatronics. A toy Freddy, toy Bonnie, toy Chica. See, these new toy animatronics were fit with a whole security system inside of their AI, specifically made to detect whether they could see an adult. They can look at an adult. They scan all of the adults and can tell whether they're William or not. And if they if they turn out to be William, they will murder to attack him. Marionette gets kept as well for protective purposes. The original animatronics, who are now the withered animatronics, as well as Marionette, stay. The wizards get put into parts and service, get stored into the parts and service room, out of the way, and Marionette remains in his box in the prize corner. Additionally, Fazbear Entertainment, the managers of Fazbear Entertainment decide to buy off Balloon Boy and JJ. Balloon Boy and JJ as well, bringing the two of them out of retirement from the station.